My parents cut me from Thanksgiving. Mom said, "Your sister wants her boyfriend to make a good first impression. She thinks having you there would make her look bad." I hung up. The next day, they appeared at my door, furious. And her boyfriend said, "I work nights at a distribution warehouse. Steel-toed boots, orange vest, hair in a bun by 10 p.m. I've been doing it for 6 years, long enough that I can read a loading dock by the sound of the forklifts." Not exactly the image my sister had been constructing for her new boyfriend. So when my mom called the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and said what she said, I didn't argue. I just hung up and reheated whatever was in the fridge. I told myself it didn't sting. It did. My sister and I were never close, but we were family, and I had spent years showing up. Her graduation, her breakups, the move she needed help with at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. I showed up every time she called. So being cut from Thanksgiving because my job title wasn't impressive enough felt like finally seeing what the ledger actually said. I heated up leftovers. I went to bed early. I figured that was the end of it. It wasn't. 8 a.m. the next morning, someone pounded on my door hard enough that I thought it was maintenance. I opened it still in my work socks to find my mom, my sister, and a man I'd never met standing on my front step. All three of them were red in the face. The man, Derek, I found out, was standing slightly behind the other two, hands in his coat pockets, looking like he'd realized somewhere on the drive over that he didn't want to be there. My mom didn't say hello. She said, "You called Grandma, didn't you? You made us look terrible." I hadn't called anyone. Grandma had called me Wednesday evening, her usual check-in, and asked how my Thanksgiving was shaping up. I told her I was staying home. That was the whole conversation. She said, "Oh, that's too bad," and asked if she should drop off a pie, which I told her wasn't necessary. Apparently, she'd then called my mom. I cannot be held responsible for what grandmothers do with information. My sister stepped forward. "Derek's in finance. These first impressions matter. You don't understand how these things work." Her voice had that particular edge she uses when she's decided she's right and the conversation is a formality. Having you there would have been a distraction. A distraction. 6 years at that warehouse, and I still had to remind myself not to laugh. My mom nodded along. "You always find a way to make things about yourself." I hadn't said a word yet. Still standing in my doorway in work socks at 8 a.m., Derek cleared his throat. It was quiet enough that all three of us looked at him. He wasn't looking at my mom or my sister. He was looking at me, the way someone looks when they're trying to place a face. Like he'd heard a song on the radio and couldn't remember where he knew it from. He said, "Wait, do you work at Northgate Distribution?" My sister blinked. "Yeah, she's a..." "Why?" He pulled out his phone, typed something, held the screen up toward my mom, then turned it so I could see it too. It was my LinkedIn profile. 36,000 followers. Operations consultant. I'd been building it for 2 years on the side, quietly, because I don't announce things until they're real. I started writing about logistics inefficiencies nobody in the industry talked about publicly. The posts got picked up. Then the consulting requests came. I signed my first regional contract 14 months ago. By October, I had 3. Derek looked at my sister. His voice was completely even. "I've been trying to get a meeting with her firm for 6 months. Our VP flagged her work in a strategy session back in the spring. We couldn't figure out how to reach her." Nobody said anything. My mom was still holding the phone, staring at it the way people stare at something when their brain hasn't caught up yet. My sister's face had gone that specific kind of still that means she's recalculating. Not apologizing, not yet, maybe not ever, but recalculating all the same. Derek looked at my sister, not unkindly, just plainly. "You told me she worked at a warehouse." "She does," my sister said, quieter now. "Yeah," he pocketed his phone, "and apparently she's also the person my company has been trying to reach since spring." He looked at me one more time, not with pity, not performing anything, just levelly, like he was acknowledging something that should have been acknowledged a long time ago. "I'm sorry for showing up like this," he said. "That wasn't my idea." He took a small step back, not toward them, just back. My mom finally looked up from the phone. She opened her mouth and closed it. For the first time in my memory, she didn't have a next line ready. My sister said my name once, softly. I don't know what she meant to follow it with. I told them I had a call to get ready for. I closed the door.